You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This is the Dan Leotard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Tony alleges, and this is fake news, that I snap my fingers and things just happen around here. But I asked many hours ago for the origins of how it is that someone came for the first time to be in cahoots with someone else. And I continue to ask and want clarification because I do think it's funny. If Stephen A. Smith is on what he is calling the number one rated sports program in America for 13 years, which is a bit of a cheap rhetorical trick by him, by the way, because half of those years they weren't even competing against anybody. And then Fox popped up with Skip Bayless.
Well, and also I would say PTI outrated them for a long time there.
Well, but in that time slot. In that time slot, they have beat all comers, but there were just recently, there was one comer, and it was Skip Bayless, and it was for 6 or 7 years, and then it was done.
The way we use Cahoot, it derives from the French word Cahoot, and it means cabin or hut, suggesting the notion of two or more being hidden away, working together in secret. Cahoot.
What is the French word?
Cahoot.
So you think it...
Well, we spell it C-A-H-O-O-T, and the French spelling is C-A-H-U-T-E, Cahoot, as opposed to Cahoot.
We spell it with two A's? C-A-A?
No, C-A-H-O-O-T is how we spell it, and they spell it H-U-T-E.
But at ESPN, they do spell it with two A's.
So what is the accusation? Because I really do want to understand the accusation. If Stephen A. Smith is going on the number one rated program and accusing me of being in cahoots on timing with Tua, the NFL, and someone else, the Dolphins, please explain to me the details in this scheme.
Well, Dan, you asked that question, and you said you snap your fingers and nothing happens. But, Dan, a lot of things happen. It's just they don't happen in front of your eyes. They happen behind the scenes. And so behind the scenes, Jeremy Taché has been working exhaustively in this deep investigation, and he comes to us now with his findings, I believe. Jeremy, what have you got for us?
Yeah, Dan and Amin, I mean, it's obvious that Dan was working in cahoots with the NFL, with the Miami Dolphins, to basically have a set-up canned interview to be able to get this answer from Tua. But we've got a lot of connections going on here, and we start with sort of a big three. Obviously, Dan Leotard right here at the start of this interview. We have Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL. But we have this third sort of shadowy figure that we don't know much about. They call him the Draft King, and that's what connects these two together to sort of start this whole thing. But we're looking at sort of the Leotard extended universe of crime families. So we start right here. The GBF family. First, there's John Wiener, street name Stugotz. Then there's Guillermo Gil, street name The Duke. They're connected, of course, to Leotard. They're also connected to the Draft King. Then you got Mike Ryan, here a leader of the GC crew, obviously the Golden Canes. They connect him to Leotard and also the Draft King. Of course, the Foot Girls clan, they're not only connected to Goodell, to Leotard,
they don't like that
but
name.
Also to misogyny.
Yep.
They are connected to misogyny, which we know, obviously, connected to the NFL as well. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Then there's the 1440 boys, the Greg Cote show. Now, we can connect them not only to Leotard, but also to Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel, who we can connect to Tua. So what do we know about the Hawk Tua family and their connections over here? Well, Andrew Hawkins, known as Hawk, connected to Leotard. Mark Hawkman, known as Hawk, connected to Leotard.
Former associate.
Obviously, when you hear the word Hawk at the moment, Hawk Tua is the first thing you think of. Well, Hawk Tua, that's a part of it. This whole family as well has been a part of a viral sensation to sort of tone down the name Tua and make it seem even more palatable, as Leotard obviously works with the NFL to make all of these things happen. So you've got all of these different families working together, but you also have really important industries that we need to get to, because our Amin El Hassan is connected to DMX, obviously, so the music industry might be a huge part of this as well, connected to Barack Obama. So the entire political structure needs to be working in turn with Leotard and Goodell. Obviously, Ricky Williams and the weed conglomerate, working with Dan, working with the Draft King, working with Roger Goodell, all in cahoots. Notice our Juju Gotti and Roger Goodell caught in the act, cahooting Cahooting at the Super Bowl.
Why is Shannon Sharp up there?
Well, obviously, Shannon Sharp, part of the movie industry, once connected talking movies to our own Dan Leotard. And so you can connect him to the NFL.
really talking
you can
movie.
connect him to the Draft King. And honestly, guys, what we realize after we look at all of this is it all started right here in this moment as Dan awkwardly embraced NFL superstar Josh Norman. That was the moment that Goodell knew that Dan could be cahooted.
Why is
for a
Pete
moment
Carroll
like this?
in there?
Carroll! It's Pepe Silvia, of course, Dan. This is where it all started.
Okay, I appreciate all that investigative work.
The Wire.
I'm glad that we got to the bottom of it.
I knew something was up that Josh Norman hug.
Dude,
I knew something was up
was the
that
moment.
day.
Caught on surveillance camera. I mean, like, that's as FBI level investigation as you can get. That's federal work.
When we talk about taking out the media in America, can you guys explain to me why so many people are writing to me in the middle of the Tua Flores thing and saying, why isn't anyone blaming you, Leotard?
Yeah.
Blaming you for what it is that happened here, this discord that you created inside the Dolphins, making unnecessary distractions for our football team before an important season. A whole lot of people are wondering about the media's role in this. I'm dead serious. Like, why are they for asking him the question, which was really open-ended and was meant as a bit of a softball to just talk about what Mike McDaniel believing in you is about. Like, it wasn't, the intention was not to create anything that resembled noise for 3 days.
I mean, come on. We knew with that question. Like, we wanted him to.
No, you didn't know how he could absolutely give you quarterback speak and
He
not
could
answer
have
the
just
question.
taken it and talked about McDaniel, but the question was like these two different. Like, tell us what's the change here?
If anybody had an agenda, it was clearly Tua.
Well, I
Like
mean,
he had the platform, and he seemed very eager for someone to ask him that question. And I mean, he knows when he's giving that answer that it's going to make waves, and I don't think he cares.
yeah, no, that's the thing. This wasn't him being baited into saying something. He was very forward in what he wanted to say, because as you guys just pointed out, he could easily say, what's the difference? Oh, Mike McDaniel, imagine a guy who wakes up every day to build you up as opposed to tear you down. Like, he could have done it from the Mike McDaniel angle. He chose to do it from a Brian Flores angle. I don't have any problem with it. That was his experience. It doesn't sound like from Brian Flores' press conference that Tua said anything that was inaccurate.
Well, this part I don't think we covered quite enough yesterday. In being jarred by the Brian Flores press conference, when you talk about how you avoid these things with either quarterback speak or coach speak, this was a professional head coach. He knows how to navigate these things. I didn't have on my bingo card copping to being an asshole, which is kind of what he did. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't have him coming out. Sampson said he shouldn't have done that it made him appear weak. I didn't think so. I thought it was a moment of humility. I thought it was strong. I don't need my football leader who looks like Brian Flores to physically flex in front of me and repress all of his feelings. When he says, yeah, it hit hard to hear him call me a terrible person. The acknowledgement is what blew me away. The fact that he was willing to cop to a press conference. When have you ever seen the coach have the press conference where he said, yeah, I was an asshole? Like, it's not what he said, but he said it the way that he could under the circumstances.
So what's the debate here? I genuinely don't know. Like, what's the pushback that you're receiving, creating a distraction or being cahooted? It seems as though Tua had an agenda, used the platform to share the agenda. There was no real denial from Brian Flores. If anything, there was a confirmation of that, said he has grown from it. And I think that's a case closed.
We provided said platform, and we provided said platform that ended up further discrediting Brian Flores and further absolving the Dolphins, Tua, the NFL. And that was what the plan was, as we saw with Jeremy's board. It's all designed to be in cahoots to bring about the top, best case scenario for the National Football League.
Can you guys get me the Darlington sound? Chris Cote.
I love this.
Chris Cote is claiming that Darlington is mad at us. Now, Darlington, let me tell you a little bit about Darlington. Mm-hmm. He reported that golf arrest, and now he thinks he's Mr. News and Information guy who's out in front of everybody, and why aren't you listening to me when I've told you things months early?
He reported months ago that the reason Flores was fired was his handling of Tua specifically. And there's a clip here we're about to play of him basically saying on SportsCenter, like, this shouldn't be new to Flores. I said this months ago. Why is nobody talking about this?
This is what's happening here. Chris Cote is theorizing. I want to allege, look, let's come back and fight fire with fire. If Stephen A. Smith's going to accuse us of being in cahoots, let's us publicly as a show accused Jeff Darlington of being acidically bitter about the fact that no one listened to his story until we prodded it out of Tua while being in cahoots with Goodell, the NFL, and the Dolphins to undermine the black head coach or the black assistant coach in Minnesota.
You know, the only thing I'd say about that is if Brian Flores was surprised about Tua Tagovailoa's comments or feelings, he has had his head in the sand since the moment he was fired. It's part of the reason that he was fired. His record did not merit him to be fired. It was his treatment of Tua Tagovailoa, large in part, which I had reported at the time. If you're fired because of your treatment towards somebody, and then 2 years later you act surprised by that, that's my only, I would say, question about that. This is not a surprise to Brian Flores. Yes, hopefully it is a teachable moment, but it should have been a teachable moment the second he was fired for his treatment of a player.
When I reported it.
Darlington is pissed, and he's been wearing sunglasses at camp that make his face tan weirdly.
Dan, what are you alleging here?
I am alleging that Darlington is angry because he reported something months ago correctly and accurately, and no one cared until Tua said it.
I'm talking about the other thing that you alleged there at the end.
I'm alleging that he was at camp and he was wearing sunglasses, and the makeup people who were handling his makeup betrayed him on this day, and they could not hide his anger behind makeup because look at him, like embittered and
I can see them
embittered, filled with rage. And I owe him a bet, by the way. One of the things that we escaped, like Whittingham escaped all of his grid of death punishments by just leaving the company. When I left ESPN, I end up getting away from the bet I lost to Darlington. He was going to tase me, was he not, on the air? Or are we going to do that?
ESPN loved that idea. They were like, yeah, totally do it. There's nothing wrong with this. We love it. Keep doing more. Do more of that. Threaten to tase more talent and just think that you could do it without informing anybody. This is a great idea. You're f***ing fired.
I thought it was because we were woke.
Let go.
You said earlier in the
no, you're not fired for this, but this is a drop in a bucket.
What?
Get out of here.
Because we were too woke.
Money cut.
Which one was it?
You are fired.
Which one was it?
You are fired. You don't talk enough sports. You kids in cages. No one wants to hear that. This is the cowherd slot, people. Like, just what are you doing with this slot?
Respect
Kids in cages.
Put it on the poll at Lebatard
You
Show.
just say that.
Why were we fired? Too woke, or Dan's taser bet with Jeff Darlington?
Why? What is it with you? Every day there's something new. That was my experience after every show. You want to know what one of the worst jobs in America is?
Oh no!
Being executive producer of the Lebatard Show while I was with ESPN
me.
And trying to explain Dan's behavior as if I had any insight to it.
And while you weren't an ESPN employee either, which is a lot of fun.
That was at the very beginning. I wasn't an ESPN employee because that's how things work over there. And I was just producing daily content while not actually being on the payroll.
Who was paying you?
It was the
ticket?
Lincoln Financial. Oh. Yeah.
Lincoln Financial. Jeremy, add that to the board.
Yeah.
Lincoln Financial.
There was a really fun 3-week period where my contract was finally absorbed by ESPN, but also Lincoln Financial had closed on a sale. So for one whole week, I had to do all the corporate onboarding for a place that I was going to be at for 5 minutes. So all the compliance, all the training, everything.
No.
A crash course in a week, having to sign up for healthcare for one pay period, doing all of that stuff. And then 2 weeks later, resetting the clock and doing it all over again for the Walt Disney Company, which actually had Mark Hamill voicing over those videos, which was a lot more enjoyable.
How much do you think they paid him to do that?
Hamill?
Yeah. Because beyond being Luke Skywalker, he's a very accomplished, very
better for his voice work.
voice actor. So to do voiceover work, even though it's Mark Hamill, it's like, yo, he does the Joker in the Batman animated series. And
100K?
I'm getting to
no
it.
way. 100K? No way.
100K? He's there every year.
Dude, 100K.
100K. I guarantee you he's made at least $100,000.
He's made way more.
Off of the HR videos?
Way more.
Wow.
100K?
You have a good voice. Have you ever considered doing voice work?
I have, actually. Yes. Antiquado.
What is that? Is the very limited Antonio Banderas saying the single word he knows. Travis Kelce's going to be paid what to do Happy Gilmore 2? How does that all come together? Happy Gilmore 2. Adam Sandler, he's got one of the best gigs in the history of entertainment where he just gathers together a bunch of people he wants to go on vacation with and makes a movie. Happy Gilmore 2 is easy for him to do, and compare that to where we are with Rush Hour 4, by the way, because Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan want to do Rush Hour 4. It's being sent out all over the place, but they can't do it because Brett Ratner is attached as a producer and director, and that guy's got so much shit in his past that he's trying to become the Mel Gibson route of maybe I can skate through by grabbing a couple of things here on the side, ride Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker and nostalgia right past all of this shit.
Remember when Eddie Murphy was going to host the Oscars? This was a recent thing because Brett Ratner was producing the Oscars. And then Ratner got moved off the Oscars, and that's how we lost Eddie Murphy hosting the Oscars.
So Happy Gilmore 2, Travis Kelce is now reported to be a part of that. What are you sighing about?
Because, there's a couple of things. Look, I like Travis Kelce a lot. As we've established, me and the Kelces, we go back prior to the whole Taylor Swift thing. I'm a day one with the Kelce family. And by day one, I mean the Super Bowl in Arizona.
Why are you giving us your Kelce bona fides?
I want to be clear. As I'm a fan of Travis Kelce as a player. I'm a fan of him off the field, all of his endeavors. He was in that short-lived sitcom on Showtime about mission to Mars, basically.
Some space show, yeah.
Yeah, but he played himself being part of this mission. He played Travis Kelce.
John C. Reilly. Is Steve Carell in that?
I believe so, yes.
I thought Steve Carell was in the other one.
He
were
is
two
in
at the same time, right? That was Space
Force.
Force.
He is in the other one. You're right.
This is Moonbase 8.
Moonbase 8. There you go. So I support his ambitions, but when you tell me it's an Adam Sandler vehicle, I know exactly how this goes. You ask, how does this come about? It comes about like this. Adam Sandler is sitting on a couch, laying back on the couch. His feet are kicked up. He's throwing a ball of some sorts up in the air and catching it. And then someone says, "Hey, Adam, Travis Kelce wants to be in one of your movies." And Adam says, "Okay." And basically they're going to cast him as like the firefighter who shows up like, "Hey, what's the big idea over here?" And that's it. Like there's no thought process. There's no writing. It's an Adam Sandler movie. It is the simple, lowest common denominator story. Basically, you nailed it on the head. They give him an exorbitant amount of money. He casts his friends. They go on to tropical locations to shoot this shit. The story is written in a day, maybe a day and a half on the back of a napkin, and they just goof off.
So it sounds like this. It would sound something like this. Hey Adam, can we put Travis Kelce in Happy Gilmore 2?
I do believe that. Yes, we will do that. We will do that. Yes.
I hate that voice so much. He does an amazing job.
That's really good.
Oh, do you hate that impression?
Oh my God.
It's also really good.
So bad.
A chorus of Adam Sandler?
The impression is so bad.
Adam Sandler will often be seen in New York.
You know what I hate about Adam Sandler the most? The most is I've hated every single movie he's created, including what was the one that you made me watch, Mike, when we were in the old studio?
It was Billy Madison.
Oh my God, that movie was so terrible.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
I hate all of his movies except for one, and yet
Punch Drunk Love is great. It's great.
I would have to explain that one to ESPN. Conditioner is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth.
The reason I hate him the most is because I know in my heart of hearts, if I met Adam Sandler, we would probably be very good friends. And then at some point, I'd get cast in one of his movies, and then I'd have to recant every
playing pickup basketball game.
Absolutely, I'm there for it, and I hate that about myself, Dan. If I might need to go to the therapy couch. This is what I hate about myself. I know I'm a fraud. I know it. I look in the mirror every morning. I look at this fraud.
You know what?
Put on your fraud
Go ahead and go to the therapy
please.
couch right now.
I need to.
Because you can be bought.
If Kelce ends up as like a police officer in Happy Gilmore 2, Shaq and Dan Patrick are going to be like, what the f***?
Tally hoo hoo.
Adam Sandler is known to walk the streets of New York. This is aggressive. Eating straight from a jar of pickles.
Hell yeah.
That's the way to do it right there.
That's amazing.
Just to walk around as a famous person. You know those sweats smell like pickle juice. You know he's going to get into a pickup game somewhere in his 50s at some Y somewhere. And then he's going to call Kevin James. They're going to shout at the Mets game. And then they're going to go to Hawaii and make a movie. Because Happy Gilmore 2, people will watch it just for the nostalgia. Netflix will pay how much for that movie? How much money would Netflix pay for Happy Gilmore 2?
Well, he's got a first look deal, right? He's got a development deal there. So I think it's like an all-encompassing deal with him.
But he doesn't have to do that. He can do any number of projects and then save that for the side, because that's a movie that can make all manner of money whenever it is that he wants to make it. Whenever he were to put it out, that's a movie that people are going to want the nostalgia of, oh, I love this guy. I love that movie from 20 years ago.
Yes.
Do you guys want Rush Hour 4? Because
no, I don't. I didn't want Rush Hour 3.
I don't really understand how I can go about pretending to be this person who's so tough and he doesn't like anything and he's so harsh and stuff. He's always hating on stuff. And deep down inside, I kind of know I want that acceptance, man. I want that widespread acceptance.
Hello!
Jackie Chan's career deserves to be memorialized. He is an old man now. He's done his own stunts forever. He is one of the greatest talents in the history internationally of entertainment and Hollywood, and he deserves the proper send-off as a real and true legend.
Dan says that he thinks that Punch Drunk Love is the one movie I like of Adam Sandler's, and it's not that. I actually didn't think it was that great. I thought it was just because he was talking in a regular voice, and now all of a sudden we're just going to respect him. Get out of here. No, the movie.
What movie do you think it was that was Adam Sandler? Was it the one about dying in comedy? Was it? Did he do that one with Seth Rogen? I don't know. I don't know what the name of that movie.
Funny people.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Adam. I appreciate
Anger Management. That was a good one.
There's some classics, man.
Spoke to me in a way that I don't know if I can even explain it to people, because I think most people don't like this movie. It's You Don't Mess with the Zohan, and I don't know why. I love it.
That's a good movie, actually. That's a really good movie. That right there, honestly, it nails down all the tensions you need to know that are going on in the Middle East. That movie is a great representation. Truly. I watched it around my bar mitzvah with a bunch of my friends, which was interesting timing.
The thing about, was it Rebound or whatever it was called, that basketball movie that everybody made a big deal, is that Doc Rivers is in it, and Dave Yeager's on the assistant coaching staff, which he was in real life. And Dave Yeager could not walk. All he needed to do was walk down a hallway behind Doc Rivers. He acted his ass on with just walking. On Cinephobe, we gave him an award for it. We called it the Dave Yeager Award for not being able to even play the background.
What kind of therapy session is this?
It's such a great setup for a Doc Rivers impression.
And I was like, Dave, you just have to walk. We're not asking you to even have a line. You don't even have to have a reaction. You just walk.
Wait, Amin, can you do me the
Just
favor,
walk up
please?
now.
Amin, can you just do for me Doc Rivers in therapy right like right now? Doc Rivers, we go in live exclusively to Doc Rivers right now in his life with everything that's happened over the last 24 months. Let's check in exclusively, something that feels like an ethical violation, on Doc Rivers talking with his therapist.
Everybody seems to blame me for what happened at ESPN with JJ leaving, and I left them in the lurch. They said, what lurch? What lurch? Hey, they offered me $40 million to coach Giannis and Damian Lillard. Hell, Norby would have taken that deal. What are you talking about? What are you talking to? And then I get there, and everyone's mad because the record wasn't so good under me. Hey, I didn't have training camp. I didn't have an opportunity to blow a 3-1 lead. That's what I do. I build up a 3-1 lead.
There's a good segment there. Doc Rivers in therapy. Doc Rivers as a 4 seed, perpetually in therapy. Just talking, you keep tuning in, and all Doc Rivers is talking about is, we're up 3-1. We were always up 3-1. Oh my God. I'm glad you did that, Amin. Congratulations on successfully executing a bit.
Love those Georgia Tech shorts. Big game in Dublin. It's bubbling in Dublin.
They're no Viari.
You know what you don't do? You know what you don't do, Dan? You don't give Brent Key months to prepare for a football game. That's something that you don't do.
I thought for sure you would have opinions on Delaware State missing its 10.5-hour flight.
Yeah, my opinions are, why was this yanked off the board so quickly before I could lay into that Hawaii line?
Summer's the best time to run the way you want. Dial it up with new challenges and programs and bring your workouts with you to make the most of outside sunny days. Stugotz, guess what?
What?
You know what you can do with Peloton?
What?
Get the app, go outside, ride a bike.
Well, I thought you ride Peloton inside.
Well, you do. You can
Right.
ride Peloton inside if it's a rainy day or if it's cloudy or you just don't want to get outside. Maybe it's too hot. It's summertime. Go outside.
I record a lot from my office with you, and you've noticed it's sitting there, yet it hasn't been used.
Well, now's the time. Summer's the best time to start that push, Stugotz.
Right? Can we do it together?
Not on the same bike, but we could join a class together. I used to do that. We used to have Guillermo Ton. I'd invite people. We'd all take a class together, same time.
So I think you're starting to get concerned about my health and my age, Billy. I sense that with you.
We're beyond starting.
Okay.
Whatever road lies ahead, your training starts here with Peloton Tread and Tread Plus. It's not just a bike, a treadmill too.
I'm going to go outside. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to do it with Billy Gill. I want to be in your class. I want you to be my instructor.
You know what? I won't be your instructor.
You don't want to spend more time with me.
No, I can schedule a class and we can ride together. But I won't be the instructor of the class. We can have Camila could be our instructor.
Ooh, I like the
Camila?
Grateful Dead class. My daughter, she uses the Peloton. She was on it once, and an instructor who was playing Grateful Dead tunes. Let's do that.
Okay. Why don't we go for a run? Outside, guided run, Peloton. Me and you, that's something we can do together.
Okay.
Turn on the app, me and you go outside, enjoy the summer. Call yourself a runner with Peloton at onepeloton.com/running.
All right.
Howdy, listeners. It's Mike Ryan, and I've told you for quite a while about Game Time, my number one destination for the secondary ticket marketplace. No one does it like Game Time. There are often times where I'm using Game Time, and I'm like, man, this experience cannot get any better. And then, boom. Game Time now has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier. Game Time filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats for your team so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Go ahead and try it out for yourself. Pick an upcoming game on the app, browse through it on Game Time Picks, and you want to talk about great deals. Game Time always brings it, whether it's their all-in pricing, seat views, the lowest price guarantee, or their ticket coverage. They make this experience so easy. And for my money, it's the best ticket marketplace app out there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Dan Leotard.
Mike Ryan's in there, and he's the one with a baby. He's the one who's got to, worry about what the future is. And Mike Ryan bet on DraftKings because Mike Ryan bet on us. This is the bet you're afraid of doubling down on? Putting up a billboard in Edmonton?
Stugotz.
I care more about Matthew Tkachuk than I do my daughter.
This is the Dan Leotard Show with the Stugotz.
Yeah, it's not my favorite rejoin.
Context needs to be applied.
Going
there.
for a joke, and
I thought that context was applied.
We'd like to rip that out of context. I was going for a thing. And
you're
I have a family.
You're gonna pretend here that you don't love Matthew Tkachuk more than you love anybody you've ever loved?
I don't love Matthew Tkachuk more than my daughter. Now it's pretty damn close. I've loved Matthew Tkachuk more than I've ever thought I could love a professional athlete. He's my favorite of all time. If he needed an organ, I would give it, and it doesn't matter which organ. It could be the heart. I would give him my heart.
You already have given him your heart.
Yeah, but literally, I would.
He gave us his heart too, and that's why we love him so much.
No, he gave you his hort. Heart and hort are two different things. Heart is like, I love you. Hort is like, yo, I'm going to leave it all out on the line for this game.
No, I mean the organ that pumps the blood through the body. I would give that to him if he needed it. That's also out of I don't think I would die for Matthew Tkachuk.
You would leave your daughter. You would die.
No, I wouldn't do that because of the mess that I would leave behind. I'm very important to my family.
It's a mess?
I would leave behind a mess.
If you gave your heart to Matthew
loads
Tkachuk.
of debt and NIL contracts that haven't been completed. I can't do that to these kids.
I thought it was like the unresolved dump that's inside you. It would finally just release.
Yeah. I actually had a really good one earlier today. Yeah.
Okay, you guys, why is it that you guys
Kinda lipped out of the bowl.
can't go a couple of hours without going into the shit humor? Like, you can't do it. You're the both of you are fundamentally incapable.
No, don't drag me into this. He asked me a question, I responded.
All right, moving on. The thing that I wanted to talk about last segment that I didn't get off the ground while we were talking about Rush Hour 4 being plagued and polluted by Brett Ratner, is Jackie Chan deserves a send-off, man. Jackie Chan has had a legendary career doing movies the way no one else does them. Doing all of his own stunts in a way that would make even Tom Cruise blush. And he deserves to be celebrated. I mean, this career deserves. How old is Jackie Chan now? How many? Give me
There's
the
like
list.
A recent Jackie Chan controversy that shined a negative light on him.
No way. There's no such thing.
Yeah,
He is 70 years old.
I'm getting down to it.
Get me the list, please, Jeremy, of things Jackie Chan has broken on the set.
He is canceled in Asia for being, quote, an a-hole to his family.
His family are a-holes. How about that?
How do you know this? You
because
just know
he's
this
Jackie
because
Chan. He's Jackie
because
Chan.
he's Jackie Chan.
There's like Jackie Chan can't be the a-hole. Like Jackie Chan is always the good guy, and wow, that's an idea for a movie. Jackie Chan plays a villain. I've never seen him. Maybe that's the last movie he needs to do. Jackie Chan plays a villain. I don't think could he do it? He's a great actor, but I don't know if he could pull that one off.
Jeremy, can you find for us, please, the assortment of injuries that Jackie Chan has suffered on the set? Because I'm guessing that his body is fundamentally broken. I'm guessing that he's walking through what remains of his career as a football player in his 70s.
I've got a full list here. All right. Broken eyebrow ridge on Drunken Master. Lacerated lip on Police Story 4. Tooth knocked out doing Snake and the Eagle's Shadow. Dislocated shoulder. Damaged cervical spine. Broken breastbone. Broken fingers. Damaged knee. Injured ankle. Injured thigh. Damaged tailbone. Dislocated pelvis. Spinal damage. Injured lower chin. Fractured skull. Bone caving in behind his left ear and bleeding brain. Broken nose. Dislocated cheekbone. And injured eye.
And you want to call him an a-hole?
Apparently disowned a daughter. You know, there's all sorts of stuff.
We don't know what she did, Mike.
Some people seem to think that they know, and it would be really horrible if it were true.
Injured lower chin. What's your upper chin?
Amin is in the tank for Jackie Chan, and he will defend him at all costs just because of his filmography.
No, man, because I saw a video not too long ago of him being surprised by his stunt team. Like he was on a talk show, a Chinese talk show, and then they brought his stunt team out from behind him as he was watching like clips or something, and then he turns around, they're all there. And he got so emotional because he talks about everyone, praises me for what I did, and I can't do it without an incredible team of people like these guys. And to hear him get so emotional, man, I got emotional. I don't get emotional, but man, I got emotional. Jackie Chan, that man is a legend and a treasure. There's nothing you could tell me about Jackie Chan. I'll be like, oh, we got to cancel him.
Nothing?
Nothing.
That seems to be extreme there. Your love for Jackie Chan.
I'm not going to ruin your heroes.
It's so pure that you're saying that if you heard something that was bad about Jackie Chan, you wouldn't even be disappointed because you simply would reject it. You would say it is not true.
I wouldn't believe it. He made Super Cop.
He did make Super Cop. Put it on the poll, please, at Leotard Show. Is Jackie Chan a certified legend in the game?
Oh, come on. Is that
Yes,
a poll?
yes.
Have we ever had 105% come back on the poll?
Let's see. I think a lot of people... Look, what I have realized in the rejection of expertise and the general ageism that's out there that dilutes the wisdom of elders is that young people will wave around a flag of ignorance on somebody whose career resume they're not familiar with. And next thing you know, Robert De Niro can't make shit because his last 10 years of his filmography make it so that it's not any good anymore. And you're
81 years old. Did you see him jumping into the water?
We played that. Plummeted.
He was also just nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, but anything Scorsese makes. It's like the only good things De Niro's made the last 10 years is it's things that Scorsese's involved in.
You weren't impressed by this? That was super impressive.
That he plummeted into the water?
And he survived it. I'm 38 years old. There are times that I'm tying my shoe. I'm like, am I going to be able to do this 10 years from now? Putting on socks is like a legit, why is this bothers me?
Mike, I'll tell you right now. You can do this when you're 80.
He's just falling. It's just falling from a great height. Yeah, but he's not falling on concrete. He's not falling on Tony's patch of well-shorn land.
Thank you. Whoever edited this video to make it starting with the fall is just like, it couldn't have been better. Because originally you watch it, you're like, oh, they started the video too late. No, that they started this video at the perfect time, mid-fall.
Yeah, Tony has hit the note. That's what the accompanying audio should be. It shouldn't be some guy saying, "Whoa, that's so brave," or whatever the guy says.
I think that's a really impressive feat, I think.
Mike, this is an 80-year-old man plummeting in a way that made him land on his neck in the water because his body just turned with gravity. There was no grace in it. It is just how a weight would fall that wasn't breathing.
It looked like it would hurt.
His arms and legs are like still as he falls. Like usually there's like some sort of like.
I would look no better.
I
would look no better.
Wait. This is not an insult of Robert De Niro. There's a certain sturdy thickness to this.
It looks like Greg Cote falling.
It does. But can you imagine Greg doing that? I'd be genuinely worried. I would be very worried. I think that there was a chance. You can't count it out. Greg would die as a result of this stunt.
Did you guys know that in the Mandarin version of Beauty and the Beast, the Disney animated movie, Jackie Chan played the Beast? Come on, guys.
I'm going to do this to Greg Cote at his 70th birthday party. I've asked for a film crew to come. I've asked.
Hey, Greg, come out here for a second. I want to show you something. I want to show you something down there.
He'd love it.
I caution you guys that you have to ask Greg Cote first, because the diva in him sometimes, if everybody wants something, he will just reject it because he wants to be the guy who's in charge of things. And he's very capable of not wanting a film crew because he's going to get drunk and he's going to embarrass himself. Like that's a for sure. It's a for sure. He's going to start drinking too early in the day. He's going to be a combination of excited, but also weirdly shy around a whole bunch of people that he actually knows. And he's going to start drinking and retreating.
It's my birthday. I can have a couple before the boat. No problem.
Next thing you know, reenactment.
Next thing you know, he's knocking the paintings off the wall at my brother's first art exhibition because he's had too much red wine.
Howdy, listeners. It's Mike Ryan, and I've told you for quite a while about Game Time, my number one destination for the secondary ticket marketplace. No one does it like Game Time. There are often times where I'm using Game Time, and I'm like, man, this experience cannot get any better. And then, boom. Game Time now has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier. Game Time filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats for your team, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Go ahead and try it out for yourself. Pick an upcoming game on the app, browse through it on Game Time Picks, and you want to talk about great deals. Game Time always brings it, whether it's their all-in pricing, seat views, the lowest price guarantee, or their ticket coverage. They make this experience so easy. And for my money, it's the best ticket marketplace app out there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.